Hello and welcome to the unofficial BSHL Senior Hockey League podcast. I'm your host, Cory, joined by my co-host, Cory.
Hello.
Very energetic tonight, Cory.
Very energetic. A snowy day.
Snowy day. We're coming into a busy weekend, though. A very busy Friday and Saturday.
This might be the busiest weekend I've seen so far. 6 games.
We're going to get right into the schedule. We'll break it down some as we go.
So on Friday, we have Tracadie in Shippigan. We have...
Go ahead.
We got Bucktouche in River Valley and Spring Hill in Elsie.
A lot of good games there. Not very often we see 3 games on a weekend.
On a Friday.
On a Friday, rather. Yeah.
Yeah. On Saturday, we have River Valley versus Spring Hill and Shippigan and Dalhousie.
Beautiful.
And on Sunday, the sole game on Sunday, one that Cory has been looking forward to he's had this circled down on the calendar. Miramichi will be in Elsie.
And there wasn't even a game played yet in the season. I was looking forward to the 2 Elsie Miramichi games. They're just a good time. So
yeah,
I'm pretty pumped for this one. Should be fun.
Should be an amazing time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man. Do you want to do our picks real quick?
Sure. Tracadie versus Shippigan.
I can tell you that the Looney is going away. What was my score? My record last weekend, Cory?
0-4.
0-4. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't have a fever dream. Okay. The Looney let me down.
That is the worst performance that we both had this season. You just didn't get one right. That's the first time that's happened to any of us. I managed to sneak 1 point in there, and that still brought me to 500. So I'm 25-25. You're 22-28. So you have to be perfect the next few weeks. Perfect.
Well, I have to be perfect this weekend to get back to 500. So let's start with that. All right. Tracadie Shippigan. I'm giving it to Shippigan.
I am also going with Shippigan. I think they've had a couple losses recently, and I think they're ready for a bounce back win.
Yep, I think so too.
So we have Spring Hill or Bucktouche and River Valley.
I think River Valley takes this one.
Yeah, I'm going with River Valley as well.
It's close. They're both teams that could get this win, but to me, River Valley at home is tough. So
yeah,
River Valley takes it.
Yeah. So then we have Spring Hill in Elsie.
I think Spring Hill's heading in the right direction, so I think Spring Hill gets a win here. Although I think Elsie's going to play very well, so if Elsie won, I wouldn't be shocked. But I have a feeling that Spring Hill's going to take this one. It's going to be close.
Until they prove that they can beat Elsie, I am picking Elsie.
Oh, fuck, that's right, eh? They've never beaten the Hawks. Man, I've been sick for the last couple of days, like stomach flu, so maybe I'm just something's wrong there. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I'm still sticking Spring Hill. This is when they finally break free of the chains that hold them down.
All right, so you had Spring Hill, right?
Yeah. You definitely got that one wrong, probably.
So we already did that one. River Valley and Spring Hill.
This is a Spring Hill win at home.
I also have Spring Hill.
Great. Yeah.
And we have Shippigan Dalhousie.
Dalhousie.
I also have Dalhousie.
He's copying all my picks, folks.
Miramichi and Elsie.
Elspeth gets the win.
I got Miramichi in this one.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, I think Miramichi, I hate to put it like that, they got embarrassed last weekend. They are going to be full of fire, and I think it's going to be a very hard night for Elsie. Yeah,
could go either way. It's going to be a good game, though. I can't wait for it.
Going to be. My buddy, shout out to my buddy Charlie. Charles Delory, one of my absolute best friends, big supporter of everything that we do. He texted me earlier. He's like, 2 games this weekend in Rishabuk. You guys going? And I was like, I believe we are. He's like, you're recording them? I'm like, I'm gonna ask the big boss on that one.
I'm not sure yet. We're gonna see. We're probably gonna be recording Friday night. I think we're gonna try and stream. Maybe not the whole game. Maybe like the third period or the second and third period. We'll figure it out. The streams they're time consuming. They're tough, and there's something about the camaraderie of just sitting with the people around the community, just getting to know everybody. So, but I think we're going to stream some of it for sure. Sunday we won't be streaming because Roxanne Merrill Young has our back, so she should be streaming. Hopefully,
is she coming to Rishabukto?
I'd be shocked if she didn't, but
yeah,
I hope so. I like her streams. I hope she's there for it.
Yeah, me too. I think she's like grandfathered in. Out of due respect to Roxanne Merle Young, any Miramichi game we will not be streaming because she's got you covered and she's doing a fantastic job, and she was doing it first, so the respect goes to her.
And we're lazy. We just want to sit and watch the game. Let's be honest.
Put in. I want to put in.
He wants to put in.
I'm not gonna lie.
I just want to sit and watch the game and chill some. So I don't know. Friday, I think we're gonna stream some of it. I don't know if we're gonna stream the whole thing, but I'm looking forward to it. It should be a fun time. There's still an outside chance that some of us head to Shippigan for Trackety versus Shippigan.
Yeah. If you want me to stream it, I will gladly man the camera. I enjoyed doing that in Bucktouche.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know who's gonna, if we decide to split up, who's going where, but we'll make that decision on Friday. Yeah. I won't be going to River Valley because friend of the podcast, Ricky Bassrash, is going to the Bucktouche River Valley game. So if there's any scraps there, I know that I'm covered. So
yeah, Ricky's one. I've never met the guy in person. I've never texted him, but from what you're telling me about him, he really is like a hero to this podcast, giving us information, giving us scores and stats and all that. So a big shout out to Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky's awesome, man. He definitely tracks some different stats. That the website stat tracking sucks. I mean, let's just put it that way. The website stat tracking is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So Ricky, I don't know if he has like an Excel sheet, I assume, where he tracks some different stuff on his own, but he's more than generous, and he shares some of that stuff with me. So
yeah,
and he's just a great conversation. He's watched a ton of senior hockey in his life, and he sent me a ton of fights last summer that really got this channel off the ground. So
yeah,
anyway, he'll be in River Valley, so I'm sure that we'll get some good times there. There's always some rough stuff when you have River Valley playing. So
hey, get him to take a picture of the burger if he takes it.
Man, it's true. I wonder if he's ever had the burger. Should have the burger, Ricky. You should really try the burger. I don't know. Then let us know. Fried onions, and let us know what you think of it. My mom liked it a lot.
Yeah, they're hamburger wise, they're the best.
Yeah, it's up there. What's next, Cory?
The weekly standings.
Oh boy.
A few changes here.
Yeah.
So, Week 14 standings, we start in first place, the Dalhousie Marauders. It seems like it's been like 3-4 weeks now. I'm sure it's not that long, but they're 11-4-1, still 23 points. In second place, the River Valley Lumberjacks, up one spot, 18 points. They're creeping up on first place. You know, we still got 2 weeks to go. Dalhousie keeps going like this, they could be taken over. So in third place, Tracadie Alpine, 9-6 record, 18 points, up one spot. In fourth place, the Miramichi Northmen, down 3 spots, an 8-6-1 record, 17 points. So still pretty close to the top of the pack. In fifth place, the LC Puckduck Hawks, a 6-7-2 record, 14 points, still not that far off. Nipping at their heels, though, in sixth place, the Bucktouche JCs, off their big win from last week, a 6-8-1 record, 13 points. In seventh place, the Spring Hill Coal Miners, 13 points, up one spot from last week. 6-7-1 record. I don't know if I said that before, but and the Shippigan Marchand, once again back in eighth spot, 4-7-3 record, 11 points. We're creeping up on the end of the season, my bro.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be good. What's gonna be interesting is when we record that Monday episode in a couple of weeks, or the Tuesday episode that we record on Monday night, we won't really know the final standings yet because there's still that one game between River Valley and Trackety on Tuesday night that honestly could have big implications for the standings. So
very good.
Nobody knows yet if it's a placeholder date and they're gonna move it to a weekend or what's going on, or if they were kind of hoping that maybe they could just cancel that game. Sometimes that happens. It's going to be a game that's going to matter, I think. So I don't think we're going to see it canceled.
What's going to suck when the playoff starts, it's going to go fast. It's going to finish quick. And then I'm going to be back at work and just reminiscing and hoping that work goes by quick enough so that we can get back to hockey games.
Yeah, there's a lot of playoffs between now and then, though, man. There's going to be a lot of travel and a lot of games, so it's going to be a good time. The player statistics, I'm going to go over them really quick. I'm just going to talk about a couple of guys. Pascal Valcourt still in first place, 41 points, 17 goals, 24 assists in 16 games. Second place, Peter Traynor, the River Valley Lumberjacks. 14 games played, 17 goals, 16 assists, 33 points. So Peter Traynor inching his way up towards the top of that leaderboard.
Oh, yeah.
Below that, not really a ton of change. You have Jessica Bernard and Francis Thibault and Nicolas Richard. So not a ton of change below that, but Peter Traynor continues to make the late push to maybe finish with the most points in the league.
Yeah. I'm curious because last season you had MVP, you had Offensive Player of the Year, you had Defensive Player of the Year, which counted goalies as well. I'll be curious if they share the award again, because last year Defensive Player of the Year was split between Alex Collette and Cratezilla, Daniel Crate.
Yeah.
MVP was Mac Brown, and the Offensive Player of the Year was Robbie Graham. I'll be interested to see how they work this out this year, because I feel like Defensive Player of the Year should be for a defenseman, and like have a goalie of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I think these awards are voted on by the teams, I believe. So I do like that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. I know last year, and they announced like the runners up and some other stuff, so it was quite interesting. And that was they gave those away in the finals, didn't they?
Was it the very last game? I think it was. It was in LC.
Was it the last game or the first game of the finals? I don't know.
It was in LC, so it was either the first or the last. So
yeah,
it was definitely not the second.
So that's that'll be interesting to see. That's coming up. Cory, do we have anything else this episode?
I think that's it.
Perfect. We're going to be right back here in a few minutes. We've got a guest. Connor Smith is going to be joining us for the second part of this podcast.
Japanese wrestling.
We're going to be talking Beausejour Senior Hockey League and roster lock, and I'll be trying to keep these two guys in line and not veer too far towards the wrestling conversation. We'll save that for before and after the recording.
All right.
We'll figure it out. We'll talk, but we'll be right back with Connor. So thanks for listening. See you soon.
Take care.
We're back with Connor Smith. Cory's here with me. We're going to try not talk about Japanese wrestling all night.
It's a hard if.
It's a tough if.
I can hold it in.
Is it? Is the roster lock at midnight tonight, or is it already passed?
It's in 39 minutes.
Wow.
39 minutes. Still, it's been somebody texted me. They're like, it's been quiet for a roster lock day, and I'm like, with the amount of games that need to be played before playoffs and how late the roster lock is kind of. I mean, if you look at people's roster, you can figure out who their roster lock is.
Yeah, I don't think that's very hard. Like ours is pretty much like people who have played all year, other than like our third goalie. Pretty much. Yeah. That's
hope is on the roster is what you're telling me.
There is hope on the roster, yes.
He looked pretty good on Friday, man.
Yeah, he played his heart out. Jeez, they both played good. I don't think we were getting enough credit for that game. Like it was a goalie game. I mean, it was a pretty boring game. Just one of those gritty road wins. But
third period they really woke up for, but it was very much a battle of goalies. Yeah,
I don't like going on the road on Friday because we're always short. But I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm just glad it's Miramichi this time and not Tracadie.
Yeah. I mean, no road game for you guys is a terribly close one though. So,
well, I mean, I guess it is and it isn't. I mean, for me it is, but
yeah, and for Party or
I guess next weekend when we play in Bucktouche on Friday, that's close.
Yeah, it's not terrible. So you guys have 3 Friday games in a row?
We do, yes.
All on the road. That's rough.
All on the road.
Are we going to be seeing a more complete roster this Friday, hopefully?
I would think so. I mean, we still have our affiliates, too, that we can use.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you guys were aware, but your affiliates don't count against your 25.
Yeah.
So, technically, I mean, if teams have had affiliates like us, like we've had Jaden Matheson play a couple games, players like that, because the way it worked last year is that their playoffs were done by the time we went into the playoffs, or they were eliminated, or whatever it was. But I guess it really depends on what team your affiliate plays for. Because if your affiliate plays for a team that's not going to go far in their own playoffs, then they're free to play for you as much as they want.
Yeah, we saw that with the Hawks last year with Cole Augustine. Yeah, we saw that with the Hawks last year with Cole Augustine. Fred Levi played pretty much the entire playoffs with them because the Rangers were out. So
they had Jordan Joseph too, didn't they?
Yeah.
I think there was 3 of them. Yeah, Jaden played for us quite a bit in the playoffs. So he ended up being like he really played himself into our lineup by the end of it. We don't have a junior team anymore, unfortunately. We have a good relationship with Phil Lyons in Brookfield, and he lets us use whoever we want from our territory. So we've been blessed in that form that anytime we need somebody, Phil says, "Oh yeah, cool, no worries." He just wants the boys to play hockey. So it's nice that we have that relationship there. Because if we didn't, there'd be some games where we would have had 9 skaters and not 14.
Yeah. What's the minimum? Before you have to forfeit?
The minimum's 10-1, but I think if you play with anything less, you just pay the fine. I think you pay like a $500 fine. But by that point, like the other team probably wouldn't even want you to go play.
Yeah,
we did it last year in Chippewa. We played with 10-1, and it's technically 10-2 or 11-1, I believe, is the correct format. But I mean, geez, as long as your goalie doesn't get hurt, you're good.
Yeah, we saw Miramichi and River Valley on the weekend. They had 13 guys and the goalies, and then Young went down early, and then 2 fights. So they finished the third period was basically 2 lines.
13's kind of that number though, because like if you have good defensemen, 9 and 4 plus your goalies is pretty much all you need. Like you got 3 lines plus if you have like with us. We've got Chisholm and Deegan that are solid. And then we have Stone and Griffiths that, they play their roles, and they both everybody looked good Friday night. I don't think we had a player that looked bad. They just, you do your thing. You start to get used to playing with guys. Once you get into 4th lines, it can be tough because some guys don't get a lot of ice time.
Yeah, Deegan and Chisholm, I think each had like 30-plus minutes on Friday night or more. It was
yeah. I don't think in senior you can roll 4 lines for an entire game. Like I think there comes a point in the game where you have to, shave the bench off a little bit.
Yep. But unless you're very lucky and you have that deep lineup, you very rarely see a full 4 lines. Even honestly though, in any level, even in the NHL, how often do you see those 4th liners out there in the third period?
And I think a lot of teams, and I would say most teams, I've never heard of that anyway. Like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of guys who get jealous with their roles. A lot of guys are just there to play. They just want to play, have fun, win. They're not playing in the league to make millions of dollars. They're just there to play it on the weekends. And
how is there no fight on Friday night until the that body check by Orr? Man, I looked at both rosters and I was like, sure thing that we're going to see something fun tonight. Nothing.
I can't believe that they called that a fight.
Same.
Even I typically wouldn't say that for a guy like on the other team. Like they even gave him an instigator. I don't even think he even instigated the thing. Like they hugged each other and one guy's jersey came off. Nobody threw a punch. It's not a fight. I think Miramichi would agree with me equally on that one.
Yep, 100%. I think it just heat of the moment thing and whatever. But I didn't see a punch thrown. I don't think the gloves actually came off.
No.
Yeah, we were kind of baffled, but it is what it is. The reffing, the only consistency with the reffing in the BSHL is inconsistency. The
consistent part is that the refs are typically good in Nova Scotia. We don't have anybody we have two refs in our area that are level 5 that can do the games, but we play the same nights as the Ramblers do. So if the Ramblers play, we usually get one ref and one linesman, or sometimes we get 4 guys from wherever. But the majority of the time, our refs come from Antigonish or Halifax because they're level 5s, and they typically do AUS games, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best we've had in the past. I think the reffing is a lot better in the league this year than it was last year, though. I do find it more consistent. And it can be consistently bad or consistently good, as long as it's consistent.
Depends what city you're in.
I mean, it's worse up north, but I think that's just because they don't have a lot of resources for the level 5s. Like, you got good refs at level 2 and level 3 who just haven't been around long enough to do level 5 games.
Yeah.
Then you've got guys that have just been around forever and do the games because they're level 5. But I think the playoffs, from what I understand, they're going to be neutral referees.
I heard the same thing.
Except for us, because they come from Antigonish and Halifax anyway. And I believe we pay the most for the refs in the league. But just because of the distance, right? Like, it's like $200 of mileage just for the refs to come. But the neutral thing, I think how it was explained to me is like if you play in Rishabakto, you might have like a ref from Miramichi and a ref from Tracadie or what have you. That way there's no... Because, I mean, there's such thing as homer refs, but there's also refs who just don't like the home teams.
Yeah, it goes both ways. You see some refs that are just sick and tired of taking the abuse from the home teams over the course of the year, so they're going to call some stuff against them for next to no reason. I kind of heard the same thing, so you're going to see like those Fredericton group, the River Valley refs, reffing maybe a game in Buckdouche. Or
I think the refs in River Valley are the best in the league.
I agree with you.
Fredericton are really good.
With the exception of the one day that they totally bodied that guy from Dalhousie, which somebody just lost their temper that moment. I think the calls are extremely consistent in River Valley. You can't see a favoritism towards either team. There's some good refs.
I don't think that I would say that the calls in the league are even bad. Like I said, they're consistently good or consistently bad as long as they're consistent, whatever.
We've come a long way in the last year. Just, I don't know what it is. This season just seems to be going a little bit smoother.
It's definitely better up north now than it ever was.
Are we talking Tracadie Ship again, or are we talking Dalhousie?
Well, Dalhousie, it's always the same refs. And I shouldn't say that. We played there twice. It was the 2 guys at the same time. The older guy and the shorter guy. I'm pretty sure he does every game.
The referee in Dalhousie is not bad.
I think they're a lot different than refs from Quebec too, though, where they're that close. Because the jerseys look a little bit different sometimes. Like the ref uniforms look different. So I would assume that they're allowed to use guys from Quebec sometimes.
This is a question for Travis Robichaud. Trav, if you're listening to this tomorrow on the treadmill, shoot me a message. Let me know. We're curious. So who do you hope to see the Spring Hill Coal Miners face in the first round? Actually, I have another question before that. We just did our picks.
Right. Did you pick us? Because hopefully you didn't pick us. Because then
I picked you. I picked you, so you're fucked.
Because you're a Hawks fan. I get it.
I picked you because I feel like you guys are trending in the right direction. And then Cory's like, Miners have never beaten the Hawks. And I was like, shit, he's probably right. And now I've given you the kiss of death. So I'm almost sorry. Yeah, you're welcome. Even Roxanne Merrill Young talks shit to me about picking the Northman now because she knows that I'm the kiss of death.
Oh, that was the funniest thing ever.
It's crazy. Every time you pick somebody, they lose.
I was 0-4 last week.
Not only does when he picks someone they lose, look at what he did to poor Miramichi. They got shut out 2 straight games.
When we're in the finals, Game 7, for the love of God, Cory, don't.
We're not going to be doing picks come playoffs. We're just not.
We are.
I'm not.
Damn right we are.
Tracy's doing my picks.
The other Cory can do it for everybody because his are spread.
I spread them out. Like I pick everybody and everybody loses. It's not my fault.
So you're the one creating parity in the league.
I think so. So I feel like I picked Spring Hill both nights. How do you feel about that?
I was looking through a bunch of standings, like just different leagues. I was like, I wonder how close like other leagues are. Because I was like, I wonder if it's like an age group thing where they're close because it's competitive, or like if it's just that the hockey overall has gotten better in the Maritime. We're the only league that's this close. Like I think we're the only league right now where like there's no definite number 1 or number 2.
So
Because the way the standings are, like if River Valley loses one more game, how many do they have left? 4? They got to win. Yeah. If Dalhousie wins their next 2 games, they clinch first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're at 23 points right now, and River Valley and Trackety both are at 18. Miramichi's still at 17, and LC's at 14 right now.
So if Dalhousie wins their next, if they win their next 2 games, their last 2 games, they would be a point ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
The Lumberjacks do have 2 less games played, which tells me that the next 2 weeks are going to suck for the Lumberjacks. They've got 2 games per weekend. So do you guys, though. Yeah.
I think it's going to be good financially, though, for the playoffs because we play LC. We always get River Valley. Like, get that game out of the way. Like, do that at the start of the year. I think that the schedule next year, the teams like Dalhousie, Chippewa, and Trackety should be playing each other in the final weeks. We should be playing Buckpush and LC. And Miramichi could, like, do your thing with River Valley. Or play a game with LC and a game with River Valley. But it seems like we always play teams that we should have played throughout the year.
And that goes with all the teams. I think LC plays a home game on Sunday against Miramichi. So, again, not one of their core 3 that they'll play more in the year. And you know what? One thing with River Valley, you don't want to play them late in the year because last year they got better as the year went on. This year they sure the hell got better as the year went on. So their team I'd want to play early.
I'm trying to say, let us play them in the first 2 weeks. That's like Chippewa. We might not see Chippewa until next year. When we played them, and we were done within the first 2 weeks of the season. We had played them.
Maybe in the playoffs. We might play them in the playoffs.
I hope not. That would mean that we'd.
It'd be close because right now Spring Hill is in 7th and Shippigan's in 8th.
There's an upset. There's an upset if that happens.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys would be playing the Hawks. No, you guys would be playing Bucktush.
No, you'd be playing River Valley.
Looking at it right now. No, we'd be playing Trackety because we have a game in hand against Bucktush.
Okay.
The standings are wrong on the website.
Okay, well, I'm going with the website. So you'd be facing Trackety?
They refresh. So,
okay.
We'd be playing Trackety right now.
That'd be a hell of a series.
A little bit.
Imagine Miramichi and LC in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, trust me, I'm imagining it. It's going to be wonderful.
Nobody would make it to the second round.
Nobody make it to the second round, and the stands.
It's a bye.
The stands would be packed, man. That'll be great for the league, though.
I like the 1 through 8. It would be nice to have 2 more teams.
Yeah.
It'd
be nice to have a team in like Memram Cook and a team in like I don't know, somewhere in northern New Brunswick. Even a team in Quebec, just over the border, like somewhere where it wouldn't be too far from Dalhousie, and you could pair games against them, kind of like they did with Amqui before.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys remember that.
What was that place, Cory? NSPW ran that. Carleton-sur-Mer?
Yeah, Carleton-sur-Mer. Right? It's a small little town just past Hamilton, barely into Quebec. Not historically known for hockey, but Amqui would work theoretically. Yeah, it would be nice to have a couple more teams in the league for sure. I don't think we're going to see Memram Cook again for a bit. It doesn't appear.
There's talk. There's talk about Memram Cook. There's talk about Petitcodiac.
Petitcodiac would be phenomenal. Do you think people from Moncton would get out?
Yeah, I think Sussex would be a good spot.
Man, that's a travel. Rink. Holy shit, they have a beautiful rink. That's quite the travel for Sussex to Dalhousie.
Is it though? Can't be any further than going to Spring Hill.
All right, we're Googling it. Again, this also makes for a great podcast. You guys talk Japanese wrestling while I do this.
We'll talk.
Who's your favorite Japanese wrestler?
Cory Robichaud.
Good answer.
That's a good answer.
I do have news that I can get this out of the way. It is 7:37, and we've locked in our 25-man roster. So there you go. There's my breaking news.
There we go.
So there won't look much different. Hopefully, we'll get to having more of a lineup together. I mean, last year, anytime we had a full lineup, we were on fire.
3 hours, 29 minutes.
Guys,
what's it take you guys?
4.5.
There you go.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's right. With our lineup, it looks like we'll see guys that we just have guys that had to work and have to use their vacation or kept their vacation and made sure they got their games in. But you'll be seeing more people back. Like Brett McNeil will be back. Colburn will be back to the lineup. Mike Clark will be back in the lineup. Colson played Friday night. Leighton's coming back this weekend. So we're looking good.
2 weeks. I know you've kind of mentioned a bit that you're kind of burned a little bit. You're tired from the weekends, but I bet getting back to the playoffs is just going to revitalize everybody. Everybody's a little bit tired, but playoffs do that to us.
I'm feeling better now. I feel like the burnout was just the holidays. Like we were off. It seemed like forever.
Yeah.
It seemed like we didn't play a game in 3 weeks.
Because you didn't play a game in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes when you play on the road Friday night and you play at home Saturday.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's obviously tougher for the players. I mean, if I'm burned out, I can only imagine how some of them feel.
You're saying you're not
playing for 60 minutes.
You're sitting in the crowd eating a poutine.
Yeah, exactly.
Miramichi poutine.
Top three.
Top three?
Yep.
Trackety? Is Trackety number one? Okay, no, what's the number one?
Number one's got to be the popcorn chicken poutine Spring Hill. Number 2 would be Miramichi. Number 3 would be Bucktush. Number 4 would probably be LC. Those are the only ones. Oh, Dalhousie. Sorry, boys. Too much salt. Oh.
Too much salt.
That would be number 8, and I haven't eaten in River Valley, Trackety, or Shippigan. So, none of the rinks take that, it seems.
That's true. That's true. Trackety's a cash-only rink, so Shippigan, I think. Yeah.
Put it in the lineup in Shippigan for 35 minutes, and I got to the front. They only took cash.
How do you not know to bring cash with you to these games now, Connor?
Man, when we go on those road trips, there's so much to make sure is done that I just forget, apparently.
Poutine's a priority, dude. Come on.
You can always eat after the game. The Greco was good. It's fine. We're good.
Good old Greco never lets a person down. Talking about the stomach flu, let's talk about Greco.
Hey, if you got a feel, Greco is great. Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting excited for the playoffs. There's that unknown factor, I think, that makes it exciting. Like, you can't even predict who you're going to play. Like, this time last year, you're like, oh, okay, we'll play Miramichi in the first round in the mini-series and go play LC. And then this year, it's like, well, we could be playing Tallahassee. We could play Trackety. We could be playing River Valley. We could end up playing Bucktush. It's hard to say. You literally, until the last game, will not know the standings.
Yeah, and the last game's on right now it's placeholdered on a Tuesday. We don't know if it's going to go on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm thinking I would love to see a Spring Hill Trackety as much as it would suck for you for travel. Spring Hill Trackety just kind of sounds like a fun.
Well, that's series. 4 games, right? You beat them 4-0. They only go up there once. They come down here once. It's all over.
I like the arrogance. That's fine. That's good.
I think ideally I'd like to play like Bucktush or Miramichi in the first round because I feel like we're definitely starting a bit of a rivalry with Miramichi if it didn't start from especially from last year. And Bucktush is just our natural rival. I mean LC too, but our games with LC are usually pretty. They're usually pretty clean, other than guys squaring off with each other. But I mean, on Bucktush, you get those hits and stuff that you don't really get in those LC games. Same thing with Miramichi. They have a lot of grit. They're exciting. Whoever we play, all the teams are exciting, but Trackety's only ever been here once. I don't know if the fans would be like, oh, we're playing Trackety in the first round. But if we played the JCs or the Northmen, everybody would be like, oh, we're playing these teams.
I don't know. I can tell you that I'll plug up the Trackety one. If Spring Hill plays Trackety, last time I saw that game, Bobby Davis put his fist through the back of someone's face and just busted up his nose, man. It was not pretty.
That's the game you missed, right?
No, I was there.
You were there, okay.
Yeah, you know what I missed? The only game that I missed in Spring Hill was the infamous Canfield fight.
Okay. Yeah,
boy, yeah, that's the one.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. Only a couple weeks away, so we're excited about it. Roster lock this year feels, let's talk about how the number of games needed for the roster lock didn't change this year, but the number of games in the schedule did.
So it did change. It went from 8 to 7.
Did it change enough, though?
I mean, yeah, I don't like the rule. I've brought that up numerous times. It'd be nice to see that change. Where you have a territory and there's places where guys work out west a lot, like, I don't understand why they would have to play 7 games. Like, Tracadie and Bucktouche, for example, where, like, guys are fishing until almost the end of October. The whole first month of the schedule is gone then. Some of them don't even play until the middle of November. If you're staying within your territory, you only get 25 cards. You can only use them on 25 people. Why do we even have a limit? And the argument is that I hear a lot, you would just have a bunch of new faces on your team. So they're from your territory. It's not like the fans don't know them.
I get that side of it. I mean, the fans get comfortable, get used to seeing the same guys, but I think the core guys that the fans know would be there regardless.
I think 6 games. I think it needs to go down to at least 6 because that's 1/3 of the season. I think it is kind of crazy that the guys have to play 7 games out of 18 when we had to play 8 out of 20 last year.
Yeah, I'd even like to see it go to 5. 5 seems logical to me. It's fine. You've got enough of a commitment there. And if, like I said this a couple weeks ago to Cory, if somebody comes in not having played all year, they're going to be out of shape anyway. So the team's taking that risk.
Well, and the thing that was said to us all year last year was, some senior hockey players don't decide that they want to play until Christmas. Okay, well, if they don't decide until after Christmas, they can only play 5 games. So then they can't play for us. So the common theme of our comment when you're trying to get players and they don't want to play, and then you hear from people who've been around senior hockey forever that say, they probably won't decide till after the holidays. Well, now they have to. You're forcing them into a corner where they got to decide, and some guys just aren't going to play. But with that being said, is there really that many players sitting around that teams want? It seems like most teams got everybody they wanted this year. There's not very many rumors or anything about players' signings that circulated that people didn't get. I think we lost 1 player to the LNAH, and that was it. And in the league is total, and I think it was somebody from Sheboygan.
Yeah. It's definitely the best season that I've seen for senior hockey in this part of the province and in Nova Scotia in a few years. Really brings me back to some pre-COVID. That year that Bucktouche had the Allen Cup was a good senior hockey year for this region.
There's a lot of guys in the league now that played on that team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Or that played in that tournament in general. Really, even Dagan was.
Dagan won it with Grand Falls. Yeah.
Yeah. So, that was a good time for senior hockey in this province. Hopefully, we'll see some of the teams make their way back to the Allen Cup someday.
There's a weird thing with that. Apparently, the Allen Cup's owned by some federation in Ontario now, because when Hockey Canada came back and picked when they came back from all that controversy and picked what tournaments they wanted, the Allen Cup wasn't included.
Okay.
So they've had it, but a team from Newfoundland went last year, and I think they only played 3 teams from Ontario. It's not so much of a national, I guess. It would still be cool. It's more of a Eastern Canadian championship, but I think the economy and the money also plays a big part. It's not cheap to go.
No, absolutely not. It's not cheap to host either, but it can make some good money. Playoffs are definitely a time that teams make some good money, especially if they make a decent run here. So we're getting to that.
Shouldn't the money that the teams pay to Hockey Canada or through Hockey Canada pay for that stuff, you would think, so we could have those kind of tournaments?
In theory, you would hope.
In theory, but...
Let's start with an Atlantic championship, and then we'll start worrying about national championships.
Yeah. True.
So...
even a provincial championship, even to see the other senior leagues, I don't even know what kind of caliber they would be compared to us. I don't know if we have the better league or if they might. It's hard to say, right? Until you put them together.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot more the teams aren't even in the Southern League for sure. When you look at it, you've got some teams that are struggling, and then you have a couple teams like St. John's got a great team. I haven't been to any Southern League games this year.
I'm glad for the league that Grand Lake did not end up joining, because I've seen some of the scores from the Southern League.
Yeah,
and those, it wouldn't have been pretty.
No.
I know River Valley and us, we both had a little bit of issue last year starting the season, but the teams came together. But Grand Lake wouldn't have even had any territory. You would have been putting a team pretty much right in the middle of River Valley's territory.
100%, and you would have had to pick from River Valley players, which wouldn't necessarily be fair for them.
And I'm pretty sure they've got a few of the guys that have been cut from those teams. But then in the same breath, the Southern League went and allowed them to start a team in Tri-County. So now you're shooting yourself in the foot, because they're now you got River Valley, Grand Lake, Fredericton Junction, all within the same territory, I would presume, because they have players from Keswick on Tri-County, which is in River Valley's territory. It doesn't matter when there's opposite leagues. Dalhousie goes through that. I think their territory is shared with 2 teams up north.
Absolutely, Dalhousie deals with a lot, but yeah, and there was also that drama with Dalhousie sealing players, or there was that wonderful controversy that Lacadino Valley covered this year.
Yeah, that's a Hockey New Brunswick thing,
A lot of things are Hockey New Brunswick things.
Yeah, the teams want who the teams want, and it's just that simple. But Hockey New Brunswick should have some kind of clear outline where they can step in, because signing guys. I heard some of the controversy at the start of the season, and signing guys who never played for you is just, no matter who does it. And this was the other teams, you can't do that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Dalhousie obviously got the better end of the deal, because they've been on fire for the majority of the season.
Yeah, if they can keep this going into the playoffs, they're going to be a force. So it should be interesting. It's going to make some interesting playoffs coming up. Connor, anything else you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
I think it's been an exciting year. Playoffs look exciting, and especially where the league's so close. It's like we said earlier, you don't even know who. You can't even predict who's going to play who until the last couple of games are played. There's a few so-and-so will have to beat this team or whatever, but other than that, it's a race to the finish.
Yeah, if you have a good last 2 weeks, you could finish the coal miners directly. If they have a good last 2 weeks, they could finish top half of the standings and have home ice going into the first round.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only other thing I would add is thanks to all the other teams, for being easy to get along with and showcasing a good league. Everybody gets along for the most part. And, I think we've really come together, especially since last year. The league's grown a lot. You guys are to thank for a lot of that with the exposure, because it's like I said at the start of the season, people have done it before, but nobody really stuck with it. And you guys have stuck with it, and it's definitely benefited the league. I think
that's a Cory Roby show thanks there, because he is the man. I don't think he sleeps. I think he only eats, sleeps, and breathes BSHL Podcast.
No, I still have to work the job that actually pays my bills. So I do that too.
Sure.
But, credit to the teams too, because they've all been pretty easy to work with. So this wouldn't have gone as well if I didn't have that transparency, that open communication with all the teams and be able to pull people on. Not everybody, I don't get along with everybody as well as I do with Connor. We're both wrestling fans. We're both nerds who play Xbox far too much, so there's lots to talk about.
And I saw at first, you hear people be skeptical of, here's another group of people trying to do this for the league. And I was like, why be skeptical? If anything, no matter what the exposure is, no matter if you guys only reach 300 people, or there was a video the other day, and yes, it's the video you're thinking of, that I don't want to talk about the incident, and I had 44,000 views. That's, I don't care what league, that is awesome for any league.
Yeah, we had a video hit 1.3 million. We've had one hit 600,000. A few that hit 500. The one you're talking about, it's over 100,000 now. The infamous we're not going to talk about. I'm hoping that it only continues to grow through the playoffs, honestly. Last year, we kind of saw things blow up with the people that were covering a little bit, even in the ways that they did. It kind of blew up in the playoffs. So we'll be putting the miles on.
The other day. Man, that looked great, especially for like the first time doing it on YouTube. I mean, now like you can take that and be like, oh, here's what you could adjust. Like the volume, I think the only way to really do the volume is if you had like some sort of commentary with a headset. But I mean, there was also two guys beside you guys doing the commentary. So.
Yeah, we had one on one side just mocking people, and one on the other side doing it in Mi'kmaq, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I heard that a little bit. I figured that's what that was. But I mean, the broadcast looked good. Like you guys kept showing the clock, so you know how much time there was. Scoreboard was there. It was clear.
You will probably be seeing a little bit on Friday, a little bit of again on Saturday from Spring Hill. So, I don't know if we're going to go for the full game every game. Some games we might only go live for the third because, let's be honest, that's what people want to see anyway. So,
yeah.
We'll figure it out. Thanks, though. I appreciate your support. It's good to get some good feedback.
You guys support us. We got to support you guys.
Playoffs should be huge, man. Can't wait for the playoffs to start. And I've got some plans. I've got some big plans, and we'll see them come into play.
Cool.
We're gonna get Connor Smith to do commentary for the BSHL live streams. This is what I'm telling you here. Connor's like, I'm out of here.
Bye. I feel like that might be biased commentary. It'd be like watching a Bruins game.
I feel like watching a Habs game on RDS.
Yeah, exactly. Can't understand what they're saying, but I know they're biased.
Boston's the worst, though.
Yeah.
Man,
between Boston
some of those MSG streams, those MSG streams are pretty rough.
You know what's another team that's pretty bad, very biased? Florida. Florida's always like, oh, you can't do that to our players type of thing.
I don't watch a lot of Florida games.
Seen a few.
Yeah. I think a lot of the commentators that do games now don't even really know their rules because they change so much.
Yeah,
it's true. Should be a good playoff. We're almost there. This episode's going to be a long one, so we'll end it here. Thanks for your time, Connor, as always. I'm sure we'll talk in a month or two.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on again.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure. We'll see you this weekend.
Sounds good.
Later, guys.
Later.